And joining us now for more is Justine Zwerling, founding member of the UAE Israel Business Council, speaking to us from Jerusalem. And Justine, thanks for joining us. I guess it's fitting that the UAE embassy is going to be located in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange building, because a lot of people here, and I guess in the Gulf, are expecting some big business to come out of this relationship. Now, groups like yours have been doing their best to build those relations, but I would imagine certainly having an embassy in Israel for the UAE, presumably there'll be a commercial attaché, that will also help speed that process along.
Absolutely agreed with you. I must share that I am beyond elated. I really feel like we've not only landed on the moon, but we're in Mars. So absolutely, we've been involved very much in building these relationships and building these friendships. And really, the sky's the limit.
Right. Now, I have spoken to some people on the business side who have said there has been something of a delay after that real sort of anticipation built after the Abraham Accords, largely because of the political instability in Israel that probably did delay some of this efforts to open the dual embassies. But do you sense some momentum building now that we've seen this step, and perhaps also going into that big Expo 2020 that's supposed to start in Dubai in October?
Yes, absolutely, indeed. I mean, I think we culturally as Israelis, we run before we walk, and the culture there is very, very different in terms of building the bonds and the relationships and the friendships. So we're still, when they start running, they really, really run. So that's what's going to be happening. I don't think any momentum's lost. I think only further ties have been deepened and strengthened, and especially on the friendship levels. I mean, when we had the conflict here, the first phone calls that I had were from my Emirati brothers and sisters. So I really feel this is not just the beginning. We're in it. We're in our first year of marriage, which has been fantastic, and many more years of marriage with beautiful opportunities for investment, relocation. And I must say, when I say the word relocation, as a mum, my kids would like to relocate.
I would imagine a lot of Israelis would. But let me ask you, let's get into some specifics. What you've seen develop over the past year and where you see those big opportunities to come. And we should say mutual, not just Emiratis investing in Israel, but also Israelis maybe finding some opportunities there in the Gulf.
Yes. Well, we've definitely seen a huge interest in various different sectors, whereas it's cyber or water or investment. And we've been building these bridges all along. And I think also some critical things in terms of the cultural sharing is amazing. And, the UAE is very much leading in the areas of people with determination. We call them people with disabilities in the West, but actually they're people of determination. So there's many different paradigms which are going on behind the scenes all the time. And to share something funny with you, I actually was on the first flight to Dubai that brought the first avocados over. So we've seen everything from culture to investment, and it's just really sensational.
Right. Now, tourism has also been a big draw. I mentioned, we know, of course, prior to the whole resurgence of the coronavirus, thousands of Israelis, I should say tens of thousands, sort of rushing over to the Emirates. And if the situation will allow it, I'm sure that we'll see that also with the Expo. But what about in the other direction? When the situation allows, and the fact that there is now an embassy, an address for Emiratis to actually approach when they're here, if they need it. Do you feel that anticipation when you're in Dubai of Emiratis that say they want to be able to come here to Israel?
Yes, indeed. There's a huge influx that's going to happen. We'll be overwhelmed by welcoming our brothers and sisters daily. They're asking us, when can we come? Is it open yet? We've got plans going on for children, we've got plans going on for business, we've got plans, for all types of cultural and business activities. So really the anticipation is every moment they're just waiting for, yes, they can come.
Right. And what about this new government? We had a change of government. And today, of course, President Herzog paid due tribute to former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who was really seen as a driving force behind it. Do you feel that the new government here in Israel is also going to have that same enthusiasm and keep that same momentum going to develop these relations?
Absolutely. I mean, traditionally, Israelis have always looked to different markets to develop, whereas if it's Asia or Europe or the US, and I certainly feel and know that there's so much momentum behind this, and not just the momentum, it will be continued. This is something that we'll never go back on. This is our new future.
Right. Well, it certainly seems to be the development of the new Middle East. And of course, we here at i24 News have already made our own connections, as it were, with other media entities there in the United Arab Emirates. Justine Zwerling of the UAE Israel Business Council, thank you for joining us on i24 News.
Thank you, Salam.